I just love that energy. I think that's one of the things I just really love about holographic breathing is this energy that is, for me, continually releasing from the pelvis through the body, and how it's just working through the brain and transforming the brain all the time and rising up into the higher self. So it kind of makes holographic breathing a spiritual journey, because as soon as that energy is doing that, as soon as your sexual energies are no longer just staying as your sexual energies, they're rising and transforming through the body. As they transform through the body, they're healing your body. As they move through the brain, they're disconnecting you from the intellect and the ego. And as they go through the top of the head, they're connecting you to transcendence. So in that respect, holographic breathing is a spiritual meditation technique, or it's not even a technique. It's just natural. Who now, for the new people, who now feels holographic breathing is kind of a natural thing? Put your hand up if you kind of feel that. Yeah, brilliant, great, fantastic. So, you know, you don't even have to try. You know, it just kind of works on its own if you allow it. You transform and you go into spiritual transcendence. I mean, that's not bad for a free webinar. You've got to admit that. We're now going to, I'm going to now show you the anatomy. So we're going to move on to the yellow circuit. So we'll have, again, we're just going to do it in a general way. In the cranium, we got this sphenoid here, and that moves forwards into the ethmoid, has erectile tissue in the ethmoid. This is the very top of the nose between the eyes. You've got your eye sockets there, and it's in between the eyes. And the breath can come through there. It's where the olfactory nerve is, where we smell things. So that is where it is in the cranium. Now, because the face fell apart, I haven't got all the bits in there, so they're spread across the floor. You can see that the fire circuit I was talking about in the eyes. Can you see it? The lacrimal bone there, that's the front inside of the eye socket. If I turn around, my picture keeps changing position. And then you got the nose, which is the yellow circuit, and also the bridge of the nose, which I haven't got on, that's a yellow circuit. Then you've got the lacrimal bone, which is the fire circuit, and then the ethmoid fits in behind that. Let me put the ethmoid in the face so you can see where it is in the face. Oops. There we go. There it is in between the eyes there. So that's yellow in between the eyes. Then you've got the yellow of the nose. And the tongue is in the yellow circuit. And also, I'm going to, it fell apart and I'm going to pull it apart. Here's the back. So you've got the front of the face, yellow energies, then the tongue in the mouth here, and then behind at the back of the nasal passageway, see the back of the roof of the mouth? This is the yellow circuit in the palatine bones, and they rise up the back of the nasal passageways and join to the ethmoid. So it makes a circle. I'm going to pull this apart. Hopefully, pull it apart. So you get a circle. You got the, I'm going to turn it that way around. Well, actually, it's got to be this way around. This is from the inside. You've got the inside of the nose. You've got the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and also the front of the hard palate. And then the back of the hard palate is the palatine bones. They rise up. So it makes this circle. Yellow circuit makes a circle in the face. And the ethmoid is part of the cranium. So it's the face and cranium. In the pelvis, it's the clitoris and pelvic and the erectile tissue in the penis. All of the things that have happened from when this video went out, because the clitoris has been completely, they don't show the true form of the clitoris in most anatomy books. And the true image and size of the clitoris has only really been known since about 2006, 2007, where it was imaged three-dimensionally. And it was also undermined because it's named by men, and now it's being taught to you by a man. So even though it was a joking comment, I think underneath there is that feeling in women, and it is a very real way that female sexuality has been suppressed. And that doesn't just affect women, that also affects men, because you can't just do one or the other. And at some point, what I want to do, because also the naming of the clitoris is undermining to the women and their energies. One, it was portrayed far too small, and secondly, it's divided in that you've got the clitoris and the bulbs of the vestibule. So it divides it. I'll show you pictures of that let's show you pictures now. So here is a picture of a clitoris. Now, before, such a bright light on it, I don't know if you can see that properly. Before the end of the 90s, it was thought of as just a little thing here. And that was kind of it. And then when they mapped it out, it was this really lovely, big, lush organ. And then also, these are the bulbs of the vestibule. And by naming it, giving it two different names, it's divided it. You can't view it so easily as one organ if you're thinking of the clitoris and the bulbs of the vestibule. And calling it the bulbs of the vestibule has associated it, or associated the bulbs of the vestibule with the vagina, because the vagina is the vestibule. And it very clearly, for me, been named by a man. So just naming it as two organs and associating the bulbs of the vestibule with the vagina rather than the clitoris, it, on an anatomic level, it just messes up how women view, if they know the anatomy, that is, it messes up how you're viewing it. In holographic breathing, every one of these circuits has an organ or energy points in the pelvis. And within the genitalia, the ovaries, testes, uterus, and prostate are in the fire circuit. The erectile tissue of the penis, the clitoris, and the bulbs of the vestibule are in the yellow circuit. The vagina is in the blue circuit. That's connected to the bladder and the urethra and the bladder, kidneys, and adrenals. It's a completely different circuit. So attaching half of the clitoris and by naming it as part of the vagina actually messes with the energy. In my world, other people don't have that view of the energies, but in the universe seen by me and how I teach it in holographic breathing, the naming of it messes with the energies. So what I do in this, I do not like the name, the bulbs of the vestibule. For me, it just sounds condescending, or I don't know what the name is, something. I don't, or not patriarch, what's that word? I can't remember, but anyway, a bit over, I do not like that name. And the name of the clitoris isn't much better. Clitoris comes from Greek foundation and has two meanings. One is the little mound, and the other is to brush or to stroke. And that's what clitoris has been named after. And at some point, what I would like to do is just give it to the women to make a name up, what they would like me to call that whole organ, the clitoris and the bulbous vestibule. They make up their own name because it's been made by men. I don't know how I would feel if my penis had been named by a woman and it was like his little butterfly or something like that. You know, I don't know how I would feel about that. So my feeling is just the naming of it is undermining to women, and it should be named by women. So at some point we're going to do that, and if the women want to, they can name it in however they want, and I will use that name for the time being. In the meditation and for holographic breathing, it's just going to be one organ. I'm going to call it the clitoris, and it's going to include the bulbs of the vestibule. And if I speak separately about the bulbs of the vestibule, they will be the bulbs of the clitoris, because that is where they come from. That is the organ that they are part of, so that it's not divided. Then it just clears up the energy and the visualization in that whole area. So you've got the clitoris and the bulbs of the clitoris as one organ, and you've got the vagina as another organ. I don't know if people notice that. It just clears up how you view that whole area. And if the women want to rename it, I'm fine. I will just use whatever name you wish to use. We'll just have to, I guess that's more for the people who come and do webinars all of the time. But it became apparent. I didn't know, because I just started teaching it, and I was confused because my anatomy book, which is from the early 90s or earlier, had the old version of the clitoris, and then it had this completely different version. Let me show you what it looked like before the 90s. So, see that little tiny thing up there? Notice how it doesn't even get close to the vagina. The legs of the clitoris come right down, and some, you know, they can be 4, 5, 6 inches long sometimes. So they come past here, and the bulbs of the vestibule fill out that whole area. So it's portrayed in a very diminished way before the 90s. And the lady who discovered all of this, you know, she looked at the anatomy and said, that's not right, because obviously women can feel what's going on inside of them. And they investigated and found this whole organ which hadn't been shown before. And then they, in the early 2000s, they could do 3-dimensional pictures of it. You can look this up online. The print doesn't come out so well. There it is more as a 3 dimensional. And the only bit showing is the where you've got a little thing called the glans on top of that, which was thought of the clitoris. You've got this huge organ under the surface. And in these webinars, that's going to be one organ rather than two. These are the bulbs of the clitoris. I call these legs of the clitoris. And holographic breathing, I've completely renamed half of our anatomy because it doesn't work properly with the names they've given it. That is the clitoris. And where's we got sidetracked a bit and I've lost the pelvis now. Where have I put the pelvis? Oh, there it is. So you've got the kind of where the glands of the glands, something like that, the clitoris here, and it runs right down these almost to the sit bones there on both sides. And then the bulbs of the clitoris coming down in here, the vagina and the urethra kind of there, but it's a big organ in this whole area. That is the yellow energies, and the front part of this diaphragm is the yellow energies, and also the coccyx. It makes a diamond here because the coccyx are the energy point for the back. And the lady who found all of this, she also felt that she didn't want the bulbs of the vestibule called that. She wanted it to be called the clitoral complex, something like that. So it just covered the whole thing. And the authorities wouldn't let it happen, but I don't see why we have to be governed by the authorities. So if the women actually want to do that, just let me know and you can all get together. You can do that and I will use whatever word you want. It's as simple as that. For the men. Now with the men are quite often, I've lost the penis. Where's the penis? Oh, there we go. So the men, it's more difficult. It's why it took longer for me to distinguish between the two different circuits, because within the penis, you've got what would be the clitoris in the women and what would be the vagina in the women. It's got both within the penis. So again, there's a light. So it's, I'm not sure if you're seeing it. Oh, it's this picture here. So this is the erectile tissue. Can you see it runs down also along the inside of the pelvis down to the sit bones in the same way as the clitoris does. So it's the same organ in a way, but then extends up here. Within the yellow wave, in a way, this is the important part. And this is quite often, at least it was for me and people I've spoken to, we're quite aware of this bit, but not so aware of this bit. But this is where it's starting in this triangle here. It's where the energies are starting, and then it releases through the stem. So it's important to become aware, and it joins. See, we're not dissimilar. This is where the legs of the clitoris are going. It's also where the legs of the penis are going, and they join behind this. And this part, this associates with the vagina in the women. So the men have got it in the same organ. The women have got it as two separate organs, but you don't have to worry, because when we're working with the yellow energies, it will automatically pull you into the erectile tissue in that organ. When we're working with the blue energies later, that will also automatically connect you to the vagina, and for the men, the urethra and more center of the penis. So that is where it is in the pelvis. Now, I promised I was going to, now wave your hands if you're all right for us to go over time, because we almost certainly are going to. Okay, great. We're going to go a little bit longer because we got this extra bit of anatomy and it's taken longer than I thought it was. No, I didn't think, I thought I'd be able to get away without making that little lecture, but in the end, I couldn't. And again, it's the women that have brought this all to my attention. And what I've seen as that has come to the surface is there's just a massive global injury. And not just, you know, it's affected me because that circuit in me, it really had some childhood injury to it. And, you know, you do that to a woman, you suppress a woman in that way. And with this, it's very physical, how it looks, what it's called. But there's repercussions. It's not just those women or the women, you know, who brings up all of the children? So not only is that being passed on to the little girls, it's also being passed on to the little girls. And I can just see the karma of working with this yellow circuit. There is this huge global denial and also injury in that circuit. And the karma of that has started releasing. And I can see I'm dyslexic, I can't remember words, but the irony of a man trying to do something to help with what has happened to women in that way. But I am here and I am doing that. And for me, I see it as affecting men as a repercussion, as well as affecting women. And in a lot, I know that I can't feel the same as a woman does in that area, but the anatomy, there's a lot of perfect similarities, and within, for the man and the woman, it's both in this yellow circuit. So we're going to be working with that. There's energy points and organs and how it works with the spine and all different things. But in this webinar, we can only go into it in a small way. I'm going to add this extra point for the advanced people. So as well as the nose, the ethmoid and the tongue and the palatine bones at the back, when people think of the tongue, it's more this bit here. But if you think of this coming round into the pubic arch and the sit bones back there, where the tongue is joining, tongue kind of comes forwards, but it goes back and then it comes forwards again and joins in the inside. You've got the root of the tongue at the front here. Also, you've got a root at the back, but the root at the front, that is in the same place as where the clitoris is joining to the inside of the pelvis and where the penis is joining to the inside of the pelvis. And in the same way as the penis and clitoris issue this sexual potency that rises through the whole body as a transforming energy, that root of the tongue has the same quality. You can feel that releasing as a sexual potency to move through the whole face. So that is an extra point we'll hopefully be getting to. All right, sorry to take so long with that. Now, if next week we go into doing the advanced webinars, I do the next one much cheaper. They're normally £14, but it's £9. So if you want to take this into more depth, every Sunday we're working with these energies, with this deep, it is tantric and it is kundalini and it is spiritual and it is physical. It's just a whole healing system that's unfolding as we go along. I'm channeling it in the webinars, and continually more parts are coming together to create this whole very powerful breathing healing system. So if you want to be part of that, they're much more intimate, they're a smaller amount of people, and because people are contributing back, they're paying for them, this creates a different dynamic where it just makes it much more intimate and like a family. And so if you want to be part of that, just come along to those. You will get a email with those in, along with the recordings from this. All right. Are we ready to go into that? Wave your hands if you're ready to go into that. All right, let's go into that. So we will go through what we went through before, but just fairly fast and in a general way. And then we're going to move into that yellow circuit. I'm going to make sure. Oh, 2 people raise their hands. Oh, well, it's a bit late now. I'm sorry for the people. I'm looking at the front page, so I didn't see people raising their hands. I'm sorry. We are going to go on. I'm going to mute everybody and nobody can turn on their microphones. And here we go. Closing your eyes. And gently dropping into the holographic breathing. Allowing yourself to drop back in the jaw. And to drop back in the cranium, the lower back of the jaw, the lower back of the cranium, and the sit bones, this deep, rich, dark energy of the sit bones, of the back of the jaw, and of the back of the head. And if you're sitting down, notice how that's just activated by your weight dropping down onto your sit bones, and how your sit bones connect to the back of your head and connect to the back of your jaw. And just feeling that lovely, rich energy. Slowly moving forwards in the jaw, and as you do so, notice this warmth in your pubic arch. You may feel a flashing in your eyes as the ovaries and testes, uterus and prostate activate. And automatically, that energy starts rising in your body as a healing potency. And you can rise up higher in the jaw. You more feel around the hara, around also, well, just be aware of the hara for a little bit. You rise up and you rise up to the hara, and you rise a bit in the face, and you rise a bit in the sphenoid, the front of the cranium. And then you can rise up into the small intestines. Notice the quality of the small intestines. Connects to your navel. Notice how the small intestines connects your navel. How this also connects to your lips. We fed and breathed through the navel in the womb. Then when we came out, we suckled through the lips, and this suckling motion in holographic breathing connects both of those points. Small intestines are very much this quality of being a young baby. You can feel that connection, the lips, the navel, and the small intestines. Very early, kind of primordial. It's part of us, breastfeeding and breathing and feeding in the womb. It's also the middle of the roof of the mouth. This energy in the small intestines grounds the fire in the heart. You feel overwhelmed in the heart, you can just drop down to the small intestines and allow it to absorb that energy. As you rise through the roof of the mouth, notice you become instantly aware of your heart. This is in the nasal passageways, and it's higher in the sphenoid. In the face, it's the nasal passageways, and in the sphenoid, it's the roof of the nasal passageways. They come together. The sphenoid and nasal passageways come together to make one organ, and it's the heart for the face and cranium, and it connects to the heart in the chest. And every time you breathe, the energy is traveling and the breath is traveling through that heart energy. And if you're aware back in the sphenoid, that grounds that fire. It can get quite hyper in the face, but if you drop back into the front of the cranium, as it were, then that energy is much more balanced. And you rise up in the sphenoid, you rise up into the lacrimal bones, the inside of the eyes, and in the sphenoid, it's the back of the eyes. The lesser wings and great of the wings of the sphenoid make the back and sides of the eyes. That is the fire energies for the cranium. And in the face, it rises up to the inside of the eyes, rises into the thymus gland. Notice that energy in the heart rises into the thymus gland. And then from there, you can come into the middle center between the eyes. This nearly that whole area is the ethmoid. Quite bright yellow energy. It's a bit like your third eye lighting up. Notice the fire goes out and there's this bright white light between your eyes. We've changed circuit. We've moved into the yellow energies. Notice it changes as soon as you move from the fire circuit. Notice the energies change from your ovaries and testes to your clitoris and the stem of the penis and the urogenital diaphragm. Notice the potency that is rising up is coming from your clitoris and the stem of the penis. This is fed by a different quality of sexual energy. And this lights up. It feels like your third eye coming alive as the ethmoid lights up. And all of that energy moves from the fire circuit into the yellow circuit. There's a direct connection between the urogenital diaphragm, the erectile tissue in the clitoris and in the bulbs of the clitoris, all as one organ, and separate from the vagina. And this releases up as a clear, very kind, for me it has a yellow quality. It's much lighter than the fire energies. It relates a lot to the spleen, stomach, the throat and the tongue. This very different quality starts releasing from the pelvis as your tantric kundalini that starts transforming through the organs and energy points and spine for the yellow energies. Notice that just starts working from the top to the bottom instantly. The kundalini from your clitoris and from the stem of your penis. You'll feel it first in the penis. You'll feel it in that triangle in the base of the pelvis, in the same place that the clitoris is. So the ethmoid is for the cranium. If you come forwards and down a bit, it's the nose. The nose is the yellow energies for the face. Notice it also has this light yellow quality, connects to the erectile tissue of the clitoris, the erectile tissue of the penis, and the anatomy of the penis in the area of the clitoris is pretty much the same, or in a similar place. And your penis stretches back along the sides, all the way back almost to the sit bones. The stem of the penis and the clitoris go along the sides of the sit bones of the pelvis, almost to your sit bones. Notice holographic breathing gives you the ability to feel those energies and also to travel internally in your body to feel those organs. And the penis is, the erectile tissue in the penis is in the center as well, before the urethra goes inside. So in the same way as there's the bulbs of the clitoris, the stem of the penis is in the middle as well. You can just let that energy keep releasing, just being aware of it. That will start releasing up through the front of your body. To ground it further, you drop from the nose into the tongue. This will bring the energies of the yellow energies more into the abdomen and more into the solar plexus. The front of the roof of the mouth of the yellow energies connecting to the nose. The back of the roof of the mouth, this is the palatine bones. The yellow energy is released. This is more to do with the cranium. The yellow energy is released from the back of the hard palate up to the back of the ethmoid. And this will make you aware of the yellow energies traveling up and down your spine as you come more into the palatine bones at the very back of the hard palate and the back of the nasal passageways and sinuses. So you become aware of the back of the face. You become aware of the back of the body and these yellow energies releasing from the coccyx, the base of the spine, up the spine. So you have both. You have a circle there. And then if you think of the underside of the jaw, this is like the underside of the pelvis at the pubic arch. And you come up a little bit inside the jaw, you come to the root of the tongue, where it's joining to the front of the jaw and a bit the sides of the jaw. And as you become aware of that, it connects to the clitoris and to the penis. This is the clitoris and penis for the face. You may feel that energy releasing from your clitoris and penis to the root of the tongue and then up through the tongue and through the whole face. This is your clitoris and penis for your face. And also you can become aware of your trachea. The top area of your trachea is also this circuit. So you can be aware of the trachea, notice what that feels like. This is much more grounded. And then if you come up and forwards into the root of the tongue, notice how you get a release from that area in the same way as you get a release from the clitoris and penis. However you're feeling, this is fine. If you're moving in and out of consciousness, it is fine. This will be a lot of work for the newcomers. You can easily be just getting used to holographic breathing. So however you are experiencing this, that is fine. This energy from the clitoris and penis is what often drives people to have sex or to masturbate. But as this energy releases as a healing energy and spiritual energy, it rises up into the higher self. You are no longer tethered to that. You can make love as much as you want, but you're not driven to have sex. It's not an uncontrollable urge. It becomes a choice. You're no longer at the effect of your anatomy. And you can make internal love. You can allow your clitoris and penis to release up through this yellow circuit, through your spine, through your face, through your cranium, and up into the higher self and subtle realms. You can make love with God or the Creator. Gently breathing with the holographic breathing, allowing that energy to release, allowing it to move through you, through your spine, through your trachea, through your tongue, the nose, the ethmoid, but also up into the higher self. You may feel your body starting to imbibe this yellow energy through and through and through your spine and through every cell in your body. As it permeates everything. We're going to bring that to an end now. Just making it softer and sending a thank you to the earth and a thank you to the higher self. Letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth, for love and healing to the higher self. And letting the energies go off for love and healing to all sentient beings. And you are a sentient being, allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourselves to come back. Okay. Wave your hands if you felt anything similar to what I was describing. Yeah, quite a lot of people. Let me just change the page. Now, you don't have to feel. Wave again because I'm on the other page now. Okay, great. So you don't have to feel how I describe it. It may be totally different, and that is fine. Wave your hands if you enjoyed it. Brilliant. Brilliant.